He came my God won again. Come on, Gabriel, y'all get ready. I always win. Satan is defeated. Once again defeated. We always win. Satan is defeated. Once again defeated. Once again defeated. Once again defeated. Once again defeated. The God of peace will soon crush Satan underneath my feet. Woo! The God of peace will soon crush Satan underneath my feet. Once again defeated. Woo! Let it go, man. Let it go. Hallelujah. Woo! Oh, I could sing it if it wasn't so high. Hallelujah. I'm telling y'all. Once again defeated. Once again defeated. God did it again. Once again defeated. God won again. Devil is once again defeated. God won again. The devil is once again defeated. God won again. The devil is once again defeated. Say it. God won again. The devil is once again defeated. Say it. God won again. The devil is once again. Once again. Once again. Once again defeated.
That song will bless you. What a powerful declaration. The devil is defeated. Once again defeated. We always win. Tonight, if you are proclaiming that for your life, I want you to say we always win. Say it for you. Say it for your household. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being on this evening. As we always do, we invite others to join us for our Bible study, and we're so happy to be on all our platforms tonight. YouTube and Livestream TV and Twitter and even Facebook. And listen, we always win. As you're coming on tonight, if you're already on, I want you to come on with this decree tonight, this declaration, decree it with perfect faith, and say we always win. If you know that the devil is defeated and once again defeated, shout with all that you had to endure, we always win. This needs to be somebody's declaration for you and your family as you contend with perhaps challenges and obstacles and upheavals, and as you contend with unrest, we are dealing with the onslaught of heaviness and bothersome conditions. But at the end of the day, can you hear me loud and clear? If you can hear me tonight, say, I hear you, man of God. We always win. And so I'm going to do what we have to do. I'm going to invite some folk on tonight. I want you to do a special invite to any entrepreneurs you know, those who are in the marketplace, because there's a word for entrepreneurs, and especially those who believe that they've been positioned by God to be kingdom financiers. There is a word for those who perhaps, no doubt, have been anticipating, and I do mean anticipating, the release of the Lord over your life, over your family, over your affairs. I want you to hear me tonight, and I want you to purpose in your heart that you are a winner and that we always win. There is a word from the Lord, and somebody needs to hear me tonight, because I recognize that the Bible does say in the last days there will be a famine for hearing the word of God. And so are you sharing? Two things I need for you to do. I want you to be intentional tonight. Y'all did better last week. You did share and you like, which means then that based on the algorithm, when you share, others are able to join us. We know that the world is still hungry for the living bread. The songwriter says, lift Jesus up for men to see. Jesus said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. That's what he said. Is there anybody on tonight who's concerned about your sister and your brother? You want people blessed. You want people strengthened by God's Spirit. And so tonight, I want to make sure you can see me. I'm having difficulties, but let me say for more. Oh, good. I'm on tonight. I want co-pastor. Greater Works is not on. They slow. They slothful. Tell Greater Works they need to hurry up and get on here tonight. 7:45. They always coming in dragging late. Why are they always late? And we want them to get on tonight, and we want them to be on. They should have already been in place for this great opportunity to be strengthened with might by God's Spirit. We're teaching, and we want to see some hearts and amens. So YouTube, thank you all. You have been doing much better. You've been helping me teach. You've been sending me some virtual hearts. Now, I like hearts. And so when I'm teaching, heart me up. Because while I'm teaching, no doubt I probably will ask for some hearts. And I'll ask, are there any hearts in the house tonight? And what you're going to do is just say, I'm on. There's a dear sister that's been on my mind. I think she is connected to Nicole Hopper. I think her name is Valerie Settler. Today she dropped in my spirit, and I want that dear sister to know God's about to move for her in a mighty way. And she's about to see the hand of the Lord. Thank you all for being on. Thank you, co-pastor. Thank you, Sister Brittany. And who is our administrator tonight. Thank you, administrator, for being in place. We appreciate all of our administrators tonight. Who is our administrator? Whoever you are, let me know, because I appreciate you helping me, and we want to make sure that we always give honor to our co-pastor, who makes sure that our live stream is par excellence. We want to make sure that we salute the media ministry and administrators who are on now. Just to make sure that this thing is working properly. I want you to, there we go. God bless you. I can see the people now. God bless you, Minister Grady. God bless you, Sister Kiana Bryan. Tell Rhonda Sutler there's a word for him. I'm calling out all entrepreneurs tonight. See the Bryans on. If you have a business, if you desire a business, you need to get front and center. If you know of those who are doing their best to turn a profit in their business, but it's for everyone. It's for everyone. We're so happy to have these moguls on. So happy to have Sister Tammy Stewart. Let me tell you all, so many praise reports and testimonies are coming in. We're seeing the goodness of God on display. And when we say the goodness, we mean the favor of God, especially among the faithful. I think it needs to be said and said over and over again. God is not slack concerning God's promises. You hear me say so often, when we practice the principle, we experience the power, we share. I want you all to hear me. There is a pattern that God is establishing with faithful. Many of you have been blessed and testimonies, but you have not necessarily shared them publicly. I have gotten the good news. I've gotten praise reports repeatedly over the past 3 weeks of God of grace, of God's exuberant grace in the lives of his people. Bless you, Brother Brian Foster. Man, you need to come sing and minister at Greater Works soon, brother. We miss you, your anointed voice. And while I see you, I hear the word of the Lord saying the first quarter 2024, I see you in the studio going over some original songs, and I see you sending something to Damian Sneed, and he said, I'm going to place this. Man of God, get ready, because I hear the word of the Lord saying that the tables are turning and your season is about to change. The Spirit of the Lord saying that I'm preparing you, Brian Foster, to go to the nations, and you're going to be traveling. I know that you've done well in sales, but I see the nations opening up for your ministry. And I hear the word of the Lord saying to tell you, as far as your eyes can see, get your passport ready, because as soon as a single drop, the Lord said you're going to see how much favor is on your life. But tonight I want to let the people to know, for those of you who've been enjoying the goodness of God, and those of you who've seen the favor of God multiplied in your life, I want you to put in the comment section, the Lord has been good to me. Welcome on tonight, and we thank you, Jay Nia. So good to see you. If you know you've seen the goodness of God on display in your life, in spite of you, just put in the comment section, God has been good to me. Talk back. Are y'all sharing now? Be intentional about sharing. I feel like teaching tonight, and I want to make sure that you hear the word from the Lord. As we sing the goodness of the Lord, put in there, the Lord has been good to me. You've seen God move, and you've seen God's goodness. You've seen what happens when you honor the Lord and you put God first. And so when we start talking about favor, we're talking about God's goodness on display in our lives. That's what we mean. Bless you. I see you, Sister Pam. Sister Jennifer Grady. God has been good to me. And we know, in spite of even your heaviness and the family, the Bryant family and the Chisholm family, in spite of all that you've endured, God has been good. Nadine Pugh, I see you. He's been good to you. Rita Bless. Jackson, I see you. God has been good. Now, look at your phone and say, let me share this. Let me forward this. Tell your children. Tell every child, every adult child that you have. Tell them, say, we're doing family Bible study tonight. Get on. And so tonight, the lesson will be taken from Luke, the 6th chapter. And we'll start at the 38th verse. But I'm going to quote from the Aramaic Peshitta New Testament. Jesus spoke Aramaic. He spoke Aramaic. And the Aramaic tongue of Jesus was the lingua franca in first century Palestine. And we need to be clear that Jesus was a Palestinian Jew. Let's let that sink in for those of us who are seeing events play out on the world stage. Jesus spoke Aramaic, which is an Afro-Asiatic tongue. And I need for you, if you can take notes tonight, I believe you'll be able to verify what I'm saying. Bless you, Chad Scott. I'm so proud of you, dear brother. God's hand is on you, and his goodness is on full display in your life, Chad. So happy to see you, blessed star. And so tonight, the lesson will be taken from Luke, the 6th chapter, but I'm going to give you the backdrop because we're going to be teaching from what we call the Sermon on the Plain. The Sermon on the Plain. And so, P-L-A-N-E, not P-L-A-N-E, P-L-A-I-N, P-L-A-I-N. Luke, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, look y'all, it says, the Aramaic Peshitta says, given it will be given to you with good measure, pressed down, and abundant measure. They will throw into your laps. For with the same measure that you measure, it will be measured unto you. And so tonight, this chapter starts in the context, because context is everything. That's why if you take passages of scriptures out of context, you can come up with all kinds of wild theories, all kinds of dogmas and doctrines. Was putting it in the context, pressed down and shaken together and running over. It has to do with the setting of it is on the plain, Plain, after Jesus come down. Now he's on the plain, and this has been called the Sermon on the Plain, and it juxtaposes the Sermon on the Mount, which is what we call the Magna Carta, or the Kingdom Constitution. Sermon on the Plain. And in the Sermon on the Plain that he taught in front of the Sea of Galilee, he includes blessings now. Because the Sermon on the Mount, when it says blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, blessed are the meek. That word blessed in the language of Jesus means, get this, to prosper and to be envious. Now let me just say, those who are blessed, you are to be envied by the world. For those of us who are blessed, we are to be prosperous. To Wayne Home means prosperous, to be envied. You don't have time to be concerned about who like you, who don't like you, because inherent in blessing will draw, if I could say it in the common vernaculars, which I try not to do, those who have dislike for you, or what y'all like to say, haters. But inherent in being blessed will be those who are despise you or to be jealous of you. Envy, you hear me tonight? And so I need some of you to share some more. I'm waiting on my leaders tonight. I don't see my leaders on. Tell my leaders you should be on tonight. Don't let me start doing a roll call, and because I'm feeling that there are some people who need to hear this tonight. Tell Shonda Brown she needs to get front and center. She got to sell 1 million books. But get this, y'all. Tonight's sermon on the plain, and so then the context is it takes place on the plain, but Jesus uses languages that are familiar with the people. And so God will use our common vernacular, and the voice of God will be in a language or in a way or in a manner that we can understand. And so when we hear these key phrases tonight about blessing and blessed to be a blessing, and so we call this the sermon, or the theologians call this the Sermon on the Plain. And the juxtaposition is, although it contains some of the verbiage from the Sermon on the Mount that you find in Matthew, in addition to the blessings, prosperous are you to be envied, it has woes. Y'all write this down, put in the comment section, woe. The Bible is filled with intentional language, and this has been called the Sermon on the Plain because it contains 4 woes. Everybody say, woe, woes, woes. And right now, in this hour where we want to get something from nothing, at this time when many of us do what is right in our own eyes, where we think that we can violate universal law, let me just say emphatically, even if you say you don't believe in God, there are universal laws that governs everything, that the Most High God, the Creator, put in nature, put in the earth, constant reminders. What goes up comes down, law of gravity. Whatever you sow, you're going to reap, law of the harvest. And so this language is couched in both the language of Jesus and the idioms and the way they express themselves. And so everybody say, whoa. Let me just say to the church, we need to be mindful at an age where everybody wants to be blessed, but there are, in striking contrast to being blessed and being favored and seeing the manifest goodness of God, woes. Everybody say, whoa. Yeah, woes. And so tonight, people of God, I want you to be introduced to woe. And so that's where it begins. So let me start. I got to give you the context. It starts with the 17th verse all the way down to the 49th verse. And the 24th verse, it says, woe to the rich. That's the first woe. And it's about those who have wealth and those who are blessed. But they get so comfortable to the extent to where they get caught up in their riches and get caught up in their material things to where they forget that they have a God who is source. And so he issues a first woe. Now, what is a woe? It's a warning. It could be indignation. It's a way of saying, watch this now. You know how somebody say, now you need to watch that. It could be a subtle warning. It's like saying, be careful not to. Always be mindful that life lessons will come, and you hear me say all the time, the word lesson means to be blessed on you with woes. Woe, be careful that you don't, because some of us get blessed and we forget where our blessing comes from. So the first woe is woe to the rich. The second woe is coming from Luke 6th chapter, the 27th through the 28th verse. I'm moving fast because this train is rolling. I'm just giving you the context so that you can understand why Jesus said what he said in the 38th verse. The 6th chapter, the 27th verse, he said, but to you who hear, I say, love your enemies and do that which is good to those who hate you, and bless those who curse you, and pray for those who, the Aramaic Peshitta text says, who take you by force. These solutions have to do with giving. But he's saying, give to everyone. Be gracious to everyone. If you only give to who you know, what kind of credit is that? But many times, many of us are so narrow-minded, we forget that when the scripture says blessing is more blessed to give than receive, it's talking about a universal law that is at work. You cannot, when Reverend Ike says you cannot lose with the stuff I use, many people thought that was a slogan, and perhaps it was, but he was talking about making sure that you become at one with the law of generosity, and make sure that you are careful what you think and be careful what you say. So he predates all the various prosperity preachers, many of whom have gotten a bad rap. But in this text, he's talking about give to everyone. Be a blessing. Bless everyone. Blessings. Everybody say blessings. And when Jesus said blessed, he was saying to be envied and prosperous and to be envied. But then in the Sermon on the Plain, he said, but even in that, I'm going to caution you. Yeah. Caution you to be careful how you handle favor. I'm going to caution you, wealthy one. Can I colloquialize this? Prosperous one. Be careful how you handle your riches. Be careful how you treat your employees if you are an employer. Be careful how you treat your customers. Be careful how you treat those who you're in covenant with. Just be gracious and giving. Because when you choose to bless others, you're going to reap that blessing. And so even he goes on to say, and even those who hurt you. And I know this is a challenge because many of us got this thing to where if you hurt me, you'll never get that chance again. But basically, it's a prayer for your enemies. And then, remember I said the context is, it's called Sermon on the Plain, but let's go a step further. He was speaking to those who are under Roman oppression. God of the Bible is always on the side of the oppressed. If you want to know who God is for, look around the world. If you want to know who God is standing with, thank you all for liking and sharing. God is always on the side of the oppressed. I want you to hear that. So he's saying to eat, remember, when was the last time you prayed for somebody who hurt you, wounded you, betrayed you? When was the last time you, no, because see, some of us think that this is just a lofty, platitude that is not to be applied. It's too many church folk, not kingdom folk, who don't apply the Bible to their lives. There are too many church folk who don't believe in the spiritual principles. There are too many of us who attend church who are not kingdom-minded nor kingdom citizens because we don't believe in applying spiritual principles to our lives. Biblical illiteracy is at an all-time high because many people are engaged in this buffet, all you can eat junk food. If it feels good to you, I'll take it. If I agree with it, I'll take it. But get this, y'all. Jesus is saying, he gives 4 different woes, and he goes on to say, in other words, be willing to be merciful. Be intentional and deliberate in blessing. When was the last time you blessed somebody? When was the last time you prayed about? Can I help somebody? You know, some of us by nature are just self-absorbed. Some of us are stingy. And we have been orientated toward, first thing we think about is, what am I going to get out of it? What you going to do for me? Quid pro quo. But when you become aligned with the teachings of Jesus and a kingdom citizen, you don't just give to people who can do something for you. There are times when you got to challenge yourself and bless those who can't pay you back. Bless those who can do it for you. Let me just say, walk in the consciousness of being a blessor. What is the blessor consciousness? I'm glad you asked. When you walk into a door, if somebody's coming behind you, automatically hold the door. Automatically. We were taught the gentleman should always open the door for a lady and hold the door. And some of these time-honored practices have been abandoned. Some, under the guise of being feminists and say, I don't need no man holding the door for me, I hold for myself. Some of us on this, as we seek to, we have gone in on parity, and we have ascribed to this notion that if I allow somebody to do something for me means I'm weak. Do you realize that if you hold the door for me, you just help me preserve my strength? Perhaps I am healthy, but let me just say to you, be conscious every day about who you can bless. Let your prayer be in your devotion, Lord, make me a blessing. Some of us got things held up. We have not seen the fulfillment. We have not seen some things turn because we are self-absorbed and we are not conscious of what we can give. When was the last time you say, what can I give? Lord, what shall I render? What shall I render unto God? For all these benefits, every one of us can say tonight, daily I've been loaded with benefits. Is there some hearts in the house tonight? If you can heart me up right now, hasn't the Lord been good to you? If the Lord has been good to you and kind, send some hearts now. Sister Nicole, I want you to tell Valerie to get on, if that's her name. Pray earnestly, who can I bless? Lord, how can I bless? So when you pray, Lord, make me a blessing. And then you come back with, who can I bless? God will put people on your mind. God will drop things in your spirit. God will give you witty inventions. God will enable you. The challenge is that too many of us are not willing to bend our ear to hear from heaven concerning deliberate giving and intentionally pouring out and emptying out. We got to do more than just ask the question, what's in it for me? But be merciful. Let me give you the Hebrew word for mercy. God Almighty, I haven't preached in about 3 weeks, so just let me teach. Can I teach tonight? If you got a moment, say, come on here, preacher. The Hebrew word mercy is spelled H-E-S-S-E-D. You got that? Put that in your notebook, or put that on your phone as just something. And it's pronounced not phonetically like we would say in the West, Hesed, Hesed. But it is literally pronounced this way, Hesed. You see, you could barely hear me say, that's it. Here's the revelation. You see how easy it is to say, that's it. Have you ever seen somebody who was so in the hospital, or have you ever had your mouth wide shut, or have you ever had tubes, anybody with tubes running down their throat? You can't hear them. You have to get close to them. And that's why you have to be careful how you judge folk and write folk off and talk about who going to hell, because somebody can be on their deathbed and just say, have mercy. Hesed means mercy. And you see how easy it is to say, Hesed. In Hebrew, that's how easy mercy comes. It's because of the Lord's mercy that you are not consumed. It's because of the Lord's mercy that I am not consumed. Can somebody shout right now tonight, mercy found me? Yeah, God, y'all to help me preach. Y'all ain't helping me. Give me some hearts tonight. Can I get a heart in the house tonight? On YouTube, I want you to help me teach. Somebody shout, mercy found me. A songwriter said, I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply staying within, seeking to rise no more. But yeah, God, the master of the sea heard my despairing cry from the waters. Yeah, God, he lifted me. Do I have any Baptist folk? Now safe am I. And then the question was, what was it? What? It was love that lifted me. It was love that lifted me when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. Anybody who can say tonight, mercy found me. Not only did mercy found me, but mercy said to justice, no. You ain't gonna kill him. I know she deserved to die, but no, you ain't gonna have him, because God's mercy endure forever. That's why sometimes you ought to shout him because you didn't get caught. You're shy. That's why sometimes you ought to shout him, because while other folks died and other folk were maimed behind it, other folk suffered behind it, but with all that you know you had to do, endured, and some of us, if the truth be told, it wasn't that long ago, but mercy said no. And so the writer is saying here in the text, be willing to give mercy anytime, at any point, and as much as in your power for to be merciful, do that. And so I'm going to the 29th verse through the 31st verse. I had to give the backdrop because this has been variously called Sermon on the Plain, just opposing with the Sermon on the Mount. Y'all see that? This one is on the plain. And in Matthew's, he was on the mount, right? Sermon on the Mount. This is for you Bible scholars who will hear me later on and say, I want to go and study that, because he is on the plain. He came with it so that nobody would be able to miss it. And so Jesus said, and I'm quoting from the Aramaic, Peshitta. Peshitta means teachings of the New Testament. This was the language of Jesus and his contemporaries. And to him who strikes you on the cheek, hear me y'all, if they hit you, they used to say in D.C., stole somebody. That means hit them hard. And offer to him or her the other cheek from him who takes away your cloak. Just go on and give him the other one. And he says, if they take your coat, just go on and give me your headgear. To everyone who asks you, give to him or her, and from him who takes away your things, do not demand them back. And whatever you desire me to do to you, do the same to them. Now, some people say, no, you just a pushover. This is a figure of speech. Everybody say, figure of speech. When the scripture says, turn the other cheek, that means go to your divine nature, your God side. The best side of you. If you are hit, and not just physically hit, but if you are disrespected or if you disregard it, be willing to turn to your God side, your divine self. All of us got a divine nature. Let me stop right there. If you can act like the devil, you can truly be full of God. Do you know the word enthusiasm means to be full of God? That's why we cannot ever think that pumping people to praise God works. It doesn't work. If you try to force somebody to lift those hands, what you come here for? God's been good to you. How y'all saying that? No, you should never do that, because when people are full of God, you don't have to tell them. The hands go up. They will not clap their hands because the goodness of God demands a response from us. God, we are the creatures. God is the creator. And when the creatures created in the image of God is mindful of the goodness, feet may get light, you may rock back and forth, you may holler, because the goodness of the Lord is going to compel us to respond. Have I got a witness? And so tonight, what the writer is saying, always be willing to show your divine nature. Is there anybody who can admit, I got a part of me? Some of us say stuff like, I ain't all the way saved yet. I saw a t-shirt that said, what is that, half hood and half holy? That means if you cross me the wrong way, I'm going to get bucked. Well, you got to be careful with that, because now in the midst of this climate of rage, ain't nobody with good sense should be engaged in road rage. If they cut you off, just brake. Don't be shot. You old fool! Rolling your window down and cussing folk out and using expletive. No. All right, go on, man. Go. You can blow your horn, but if you see some of these folk already on the edge and they have already lost it, and you got to be wise enough and use discernment, because people are unraveling. Have I got to write about it? Am I right about it? You see it. And so he's saying here, be willing to discern. And so he's using a figure of speech, and he's using repetition for a reason. Now, if you read the book, Everything I Learned in Kindergarten, in that book by Robert Fulghum, he talks about things that you learn in kindergarten. Kindergarten comes from a German word which means garden of God. And he's saying that if you can master what you learn in kindergarten, will carry you throughout your life. Run, don't walk, don't run. You connect dots. And when we go through life, we're going to always have to learn how to connect dots and see the interrelatedness of things and so forth. And so he's saying here, he's using a figure of speech, and he's repeating himself. As a teacher, as a parent, don't sometimes in the formative years, don't you recall how you had to reteach and teach lessons or repeat yourself to your children, although sometimes many of us got tired of repeating ourselves. But all he's saying is give to everyone. Be willing to even bless those who wronged you. Now, let me just say this in a practical way. There are times when people wrong you and they will cancel themselves out. But he's saying, in as much as in your power, people who have wronged you sometimes will have a way of trying to have to return, and you may be challenged to bless them rather than you may have to keep them alive rather than to let them die. Because when people violate spiritual laws, you do reap what you sow. If somebody has wronged you and you see them lying in a street that has, as a result of being mugged, will you walk by them and say, yeah, that's what you get? And so this is where religion can mess you up. There's so many believers who say that they followers of Jesus who still believe in an angry God who's going to kill folk. Do you understand that when you read the Bible, you got to understand how the Bible came to be? And do you know the Bible is filled with figures of speech and idioms? And do you know the Bible means little books or many books was compiled over centuries? That is to say, sometimes when you see in the Bible the term the Lord or God, sometimes it's a tribal deity. It's not the Most High. And there are times when they anthropomorphize God. In other words, attach human characteristics to God. And so then we have to be careful, because some of us only want a God who's going to kill folk, punish them. God's going to expose them. You know, church folk are just something else. But they want mercy when it comes to them, don't they? Right. They want all the mercy when it comes to them and plead. But let me just say emphatically, that's what he's saying. So he's saying giving to everyone. And so then let me go on. I'm moving. Again, I was just giving you the backdrop. So let me get now down to Luke 6 and 38. So Luke 6 and 38 is a marketplace lesson. Everybody say marketplace. For entrepreneurs, Brother Ty. For those of you in this capitalistic society who are in the marketplace, in the first century church, when Jesus is teaching, he said, he was speaking to them so they could understand. He said, give and it shall be given unto you. King James says, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Thank you all for listening on your live stream TV and even YouTube. But thank you all for watching us. Given it shall be given unto you. But this is where the marketplace comes in. He said, with the measures you meet, this is with good. It says, and the abundant measure that they will throw into your lap. Why does the Peshitta text, the Aramaic text says lap? I'm glad you asked. Because they had long robes. And when they went to the marketplace, they had Walmart bags. You know how they give you bags or shopping bags like some of us. Their robe served as their container. 3 people in this text I want you to see. The giver, the one who receives, and the measurer. Everybody say 3. Y'all put in the comment section and let me hear you, let me know you're listening. In the text, give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, give and it shall be given unto you. So if there's somebody, if one is given, then there's one who's receiving. So in this text, there are 3 people, one who's given, then there's one who's receiving, and then the measurer. The measurer is someone who don't have nothing to gain. A measurer is somebody who is fair. A measurer is somebody who is objective. And so what Jesus is doing, he's teaching them the good measure, pressed down, shaken together. That's the abundant measure. Can I prophesy tonight for every one of you who's been giving, loving, sharing, sacrificing? Can I prophesy to you tonight abundant measure? For those of you who have taken hits, you've been lied on, you've been disrespected, you fed folk who would let you starve if they had that. You have heaped coals of fire over their head, if you will. You've kept them cold in life's winter. You have used gas when they didn't have transportation to pick them up. Some of you have been taxi for them. You not only took them to work, you dropped them off, you dropped the schools off. I'm talking about for the givers. Do I have some folk in here tonight say, I'm a bona fide giver? I need you to put in the comment section, you got some folk who are takers now. But can I prophesy to those of you who are in the marketplace? Every one of you, if you got a business partner, tell them get on tonight. If you are having to negotiate, it's been a sacrifice, and we're on the brink of what has been called a recession, and some say we're already slipped into it, but the tables are going to turn. We in the kingdom say that there is no slack in God's economy. But the measurer was an impartial person. Everybody can, who the giver is, and the receiver. But I want to spend some time to shed light on the measurer. The measurer was somebody who was shake it. The measurer is the one that was shake it. Yeshaya. Press it. Yeah, God. Shake it together and press it down. And then pour until it's overflowing. Can I tell somebody tonight, get ready for overflow? Can I say to the father, to the man who has been trying your best to meet bottom line, can I say to you middle managers, you have fought for your employees. I'm talking about those of you who got a promotion and you are looking out for the people. I'm talking about those of you who now made it to the top of your game, and when you got there, you don't have amnesia and you're speaking for those who have no voice. You know what it's like to live from paycheck to paycheck, don't you? You know what it's like to sit in the break room or the lunch room and sit there and people looking at you. Oh, that's all you're eating? Well, no, I've already eaten lime. But then they said, come on, you can have, some of you have lived like that, and you don't always share your real testimony. College students, you've had to make it off ramen noodles, didn't you? But you learned at an early age how to make it last. Let's go beyond that. Some of us grew up in houses where our parents knew how to make it last. And some of us have got fancy now. I don't eat leftovers you used to, especially after Thanksgiving. You're going to have turkey and then the next day, more than likely, turkey sandwiches. And then in some places they had turkey soups. And you know nobody can make a chicken last like us. In all kinds of ways, but I'm talking tonight to those of us who have been on the receiving end. You know, you've received God's goodness. And then some of you have had to be on the giving end. You have. See, some of you who have checked out, you ain't giving to nobody, and you complaining about what you have. You don't honor God first. You've been cheating when it comes to your tithe. You know you've been blessed beyond that. You know, in fact, don't even wait. Don't even wait to ask for an offering. Tonight, I need you to start giving now. Is that person on here who can pen? Tell the people, I want as many of you who can. I want you to give 638, 6338 for you, for those of you who are blessed. Some of you can give 38, but I want you to give either 6338 and then some of you I want you to give 38, but I want you to get a seed in your hand, not tithe, not offering, but I want you to give a sacrificial, put a sacrificial, what we call seed, which is again a type of sacrificial offering, and I want you to provoke the law of the harvest. It works for the just or the unjust. A lot of the wealthy billionaires are giving their wealth away. They say, how much more do I need? They got more than enough to wear their children's children, but some of us, we get $3 extra for lunch and we get amnesia. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you're going to start tithing now? You mean to tell me you don't realize that if the same thing that caused favor to be expressed in your life was because you were service-oriented, you were a servant of God, you were faithful? This is for those of you who never have time to give in ministry. You have walked into doors that were open because somebody sacrificed so that you can get there, but when you get there, you forget. But the measure in this text is the one who, when people, the measurer, there's a person who gives it, so the measure takes it, press it down, shake it together. And the measurer in the culture of first century Palestine, the measurer always gave folk at least 30% more than they paid for. Can somebody say more than enough? Can I get somebody to hear me tonight and say, I prophesy more than enough? There is for you and your house more than enough. And so tonight, when we deal with what is being said tonight, I want you to ask yourself, have I accepted my assignment to be a blessing in the earth? Ask yourself, what am I giving and where am I giving from? Make sure your motive, your intent, and purpose is pure. You can buy love. People will take your money and use you, take your strength, take whatever you give, and they will use you until they have no use for you. In other words, be wise in your giving. Be wise enough to know you can't force somebody to accept you. You should never be afraid. Never be afraid to live your convictions. Conviction means to be conquered by the truth. The truth of who God is, the truth of who you are, the truth of about yourself, that you've been made in the image of God in the likeness, and that you are divinely human and humanly divine, that you have worth, and that you have worth, and you are the answer to somebody's groan. And so then let me just say this tonight. Is there any area in your life where you have stopped giving? And if you stop giving, you certainly must be tired of receiving. Is there any area of your life where you have decided to punish people, or you're going to do to people what was done to you? Have you gotten callous? Have you now become hardened? This phenomenon that we like to call church hurt, where we have been, there's really no such thing as church hurt, like there's no such thing as job hurt, or the grocery store hurt, or the family reunion hurt. When you get hurt, wherever you are, it's hurt. However, we have gone so far as to categorize church hurt as something being unique to, and many of us are carrying somebody else's understanding. But if you encounter somebody in a public worship or in church or in what we call the body of Christ, and you're offended or wounded, be willing to release that. Keep on loving and never take your eyes off God. Your vertical connection is more important than any other thing. You maintain your connection with God, and then it is something to be said. Sometimes we get conditioned, albeit in a way to where we go to an extreme. If you see, if a representative of God or so-called representative of God, or those who say they're representing God, a pastor, apostle, prophet, evangelist, if you were wounded, make sure that you, when you go to the next place, you're ready to receive and you're ready to serve, because the adversary, the enemy, the Greek word devil, diabolos, means to hinder your forward progress. Will have you snared, blocked, blinded, not even open to receive because of something that happened somewhere else. There are unhealthy people everywhere. There are people who are sick. There are people who are not sane. There are people who are evil, and they will show up anywhere. Never allow the misconduct of others, the evil ways of others, the disrespect that many show to themselves by how they treat others, to condition you to alter the goodness of God seeking to be expressed through you. You are better than that. You cannot reduce yourself to the ugliness of those who are around you. You make sure that you maintain your beauty, maintain your class, maintain your dignity. You make sure that you don't bow down or allow the wicked one to cause you to be distracted or detoured. And so tonight, the word of the Lord is, get ready for the good measure, the pressed down, the shaking together. I want everyone to get a seed tonight. I don't want you to be in a mindset to where when I come virtually, I don't give. No, we come virtually, we give to this ministry, we sow and seed. Tonight, I want you to get ready for the overflow. There is a measurer that's being put in your life, orchestrated by God. We can say the measurer represents the goodness of God embodied. And so then I'm giving. I'm going to run into the goodness of God. Am I right about it? If somebody can hear me tonight, say, you're right about it. Sister Nadine, Miss Vicky would say, you sure is preaching. Would she say that, Kim? Listen, y'all. Vicky used to attend our church, peace be upon her. She's now gone on to be with the Lord, but she would blurt out whatever or loud whenever the message was going for. She would tell you sure is preaching. Couldn't nobody say it like Miss Vicky. But tonight, sisters and brothers, I want you to get an image in your head. And I want you to get an image of yourself being on the receiving end. Yeah, of God's goodness. But when you receive, then I want you to shift and be on the giving end, to be an expression, to be a conduit, to be a vessel, to be a distributor of the same goodness you receive. You hear me? So you're blessed to be a blessing. So then here we are. The measurer is nothing but the embodiment of the goodness of God that's standing in the midst of our cosmic experience, universal experience, our life journey. No matter where you are, if you are a giver, you're going to meet the measurer somewhere along the road.
Thank you, Father.
A measurer. Did you hear me say impartial? The goodness of God. A measurer who automatically is conditioned wide to give you 30% more. Whenever you see 3 in Holy Scriptures, that's gematria, but it also means perfect. 3 is also, as 7 is, the number of perfection. So it means that you're going to get total abundance or complete abundance, or you'll see the perfection or goodness or the fulfillment of the maturity of goodness expressed in the highest order because you have set it in motion. Some of us can't receive because we have not given. Some of us don't have because we are still fighting within ourselves, trying to determine if we're going to be a give. Show me. Valerie Settlers is on the line. I'm already, now let me shift and prophesy. And so tonight, the measurer represents the goodness of the Lord's coming in your life. Every entrepreneur, I want you now to make up in your mind, I'm going to pay my people more. I'm going to give them beyond the livable wage. I want you to make sure that you do right by people. I want you to make sure that you don't think that and some of us need to hurry up and repent, because is it possible that all the toilet paper you took home from your job and the pencils and all the supplies you took home from your job when you were working for folk, is it possible that some of your employees may be taking stuff home? You better repent and say, Lord, forgive me. But tonight, sisters and brothers, I want you to hear me. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It's the season that you're entering into. You have the power to name this season. And I want you to say emphatically, I'm calling this season in my life, this chapter in my life, this stage of my life, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Hear me. Whatever you call will come. The word name means nature. And so then by faith, for those of you who are hearing me on YouTube, I said call this season. Put it on your refrigerator. Write it so you can look at it. I'm entering into my pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I gave you the context for the sermon on the plain that was filled with 4 woes. You can go back and see it, which was a warning, it was saying, be careful. Some say it suggests that judgment will be coming if you do anything other than this. Now let's talk about the judgment of God. Judgment literally means righteousness, means to balance out. When we are lopsided, and some of us are, sin means to miss the mark. We are acting as if we have no God. We're acting as if God is not present. We're violating against the laws of God, or transgressing against the laws of God, and we refuse to repent, have a new mind, or do an about face. But hear me tonight. In order to receive what God is releasing as the blessor, the blessee, must get in position. Either you are determined or committed to say, I'm going to be a giver. I'm a blessing. And then automatically, when you are a blessing to anybody, you will get the attention of the measurer. Embodied goodness of God. And so the marketplace image, remember I told you, this is a marketplace text. Every business owner, hear me. If you're a salesman, if you're entrepreneur, if you work in corporate America, if you had a good government job, what you make happen for others, God's going to make happen for you. Hear me tonight. You've entered into your season of what is it called? Y'all didn't get it, did you? Press down, shaking together, and running over. Tell your family, tell your children, tell Lottie, Dottie, tell everybody. Tell your spouse, tell your significant others. This is my pressed down, shaking together, and running over season. We're going to bless folk. Some of you need to clean out your closets tomorrow. We're going to find ways creatively to be a blessing. We're going to do everything we can to make life better than it was we found it. So then get this. If you commit to that, you know that you're going to eventually receive. Given it shall be what? Given unto you. You see how the law is operating here? But the third person in the text is the measurer. And God said, that's me. That's my mercy. That's my favor. That's my mercy. That's my favor. That's my goodness. Who is it that's in the midst of it, y'all? God's goodness, his mercy, his favor. Y'all answer back. Let me know you're listening. Who is it that steps in when you commit yourself to giving, to loving, when you commit yourself to forgiving, when you commit yourself to blessing those, you commit yourself to doing something for the poor, doing something for the least of these, blessing those who've been marginalized, blessing those who've been written off, giving to those who cannot pay you back or do for you what you've done to them. It's the measurer that I want you to know that you're going to meet as you continue to be faithful in your giving, faithful in and be compassionate. Some of us have become so callous and you forgot. Don't you? Some of you can't be that forgetful. Don't you dare forget his benefits in your life and forget how you did the same thing and forget that you did worse, but you didn't get what you deserved. Don't you ever forget. Don't you ever forget to show compassion. Don't you ever forget what it feels like when you were in that dark place and that depressive place and you couldn't get yourself up, but somebody prayed you through. Your mama had you on her mind. Your daddy prayed you through. Don't you ever forget the times when you don't know how you got over it, but your soul look back and wonder how you made it over. You know for a fact you were out of it for about 6 years. Am I right about it? Out, just straight out of it, almost on autopilot. But God, loving kindness found you, his mercy found you. And so tonight, because we have aligned ourselves with this spiritual principle, this divine idea, and we are going to position ourselves in the world, both as the one who is giving and one who is receiving, but certainly as one who is the measurer. We're going to give people more than we're going to be generous with our time. We're not going to, sometimes people will get on your nerves and you say, wait a minute, I ain't going to give them the 5 minutes, but go the extra mile. Can I get somebody to hear me? Go the extra miles in your relationships. If you want a healthy marriage, it would never be 50-50. You got to go the extra mile. I'm going to use my marriage as an example. I used to be highly upset if my wife didn't cook, because I came from a place where folk cook, and wife said, we're going out to eat, we'll go out to eat. But I got mad because she wasn't cooking, and I heard God's voice. God will speak to you in every area, not just in your church. This is for some preacher or some child of God, prophetess who think God won't tell you how to conduct yourselves in relationships. And so Holy Spirit said, you cook. All of a sudden, I became Chef DW. Then it looks like overnight, Kenny started saying, you cook better than me. I come from a line of cooks. Maybe it's in my DNA. But then when my wife when Jahi went to Broadway with Jahi went to Broadway, my wife accompanied him. My daughter would make me cook every day. Her mother would go to Golden Corral and order pizzas, or they would go, and but as soon as I picked up, Dad, what are you cooking? If I didn't plan on cooking, but she got me in a habit of, but see, I'm going somewhere. When you sometimes complaining about what folk haven't done, don't do, you do it. You become it. Because by you becoming, you're going to benefit more than just you, and it's going to cause you to bring joy, be better, and you're going to make discoveries along the way, and you'll be able to look back and say, I'm glad I sacrificed there. Sometimes you got to love the hell out of people. Sometimes you got to love people more than they love themselves. Sometimes you got to literally engage in the art of forgetfulness, meaning that I'm going to forget to hold a grudge. I'm going to forget to retaliate because I believe that in a goodness of you or in a goodness of it. And so today, tonight, I speak to every person who said, I've been anticipating God's exuberant grace in my life, but I'm becoming a visible expression of the goodness of God. I'm going to be intentional in living out loud the teachings of Jesus. I'm going to become a student of the teachings of Jesus, which means disciples or learned one. I'm going to do all that I can to invoke the power of God in my life. I'm going to practice the principle, right? Number two, I'm going to experience the power when I live that thing, do that thing. And then I'm going to share in the prophet. The old folks used to say, try God, try Jesus. You gotta hear me tonight. You are about to see the pressed down, shaking together, running over in every area of your life. Church, Greater Works Church family, we're preparing for the pressed down, shaking together, running over. In the face of economic downturn, kingdom citizens, the word of the Lord to you is get ready for the pressed down, the good measure, shaking together and running over. Yes, the wealth transference is happening. Yes, we are in the midst of a global reset. Yes, yes, yes. The wicked who for years have exploited, there ought to be a redistribution of wealth. Dr. King, in the last years of his life, called for a redistribution of wealth. And so tonight I prophesied to the people of God that which God has for you will get to you, and that you would do nothing to hinder the move of God in your life, because God can trust you with it. God can trust you to do it. God can trust you to embody it. And if we can tonight, just say, Lord, use me for your glory. If you will tonight, so say, Lord, you can use me. Here's my hands, work through me. Here's my mind, think through me. Here's my feet, walk through me. And so tonight, we're going to bless this house. Here's the way to give. Do they have the giving pen on here? You see the ways to give. For those of you sowing, get your seed in your hand and be intentional about supporting ministry. Valerie Settlers, I prayed for you earlier. And Valerie Settlers, I heard the Spirit of the Lord saying to tell you now, and that it won't be long now, and that there are three different things that before the year is up, three different things that I see you testify or giving praise to God for. And I hear the word of the Lord saying there's healing in the relationship, there's healing in the family, and the breach that was there is about to be mended. And then I hear the word of the Lord saying, I'm expanding your hand. I see you expanding. I see you moving in a new zip code in that part of Little Rock where they have their old money. Sister Nicole, I know you heard me, and I hope you're working on it, but they're going to start doing a lot of lofts and live, work, play communities in an area that was forgotten. The Renaissance is happening in Little Rock, and there is going to be a major announcement of renewal in the first quarter 2024. And so those of you who can hear me tonight, if the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter of this year has been challenging, you know you're in the fourth quarter. Can I suggest to you tonight, I'm prophesying a fourth quarter comeback. Can I use the football analogy in telling you you're coming back and you're going to finish strong? And so perhaps you are at a 4th and 1 position. Perhaps you know that that is do or die or now. There's something in football that's been debated this year, and they have had the commission to weigh in it. It's called the tush. where when there's a short yardage situation, they line up. Have y'all seen it? And they pushing somebody's butt from behind to get them over. It's been working in certain instances, but it matters who you have at the top. Some of you need to hear me. You're trying to push the wrong folk over the goal line. Some folk, you don't need to be at the top of your list that you push. Make sure you push your church. Make that at the top of your list. Make sure you're pushing your loved ones. Make that the top of your list. 6C to 6338. Yeah, 63, and then for those who say, well, I don't have 6338. Well, give the 3838. But tonight, let's push each other. Let's push those who, when they get over, they're going to help somebody else get over. When they score, they're going to help somebody else win. Is there anybody who got some folk in your circle and who love you enough to say, I just want to see him win?
Yes.
Is there anybody who can say about people in your circle, they want you to win, and then you want them to win? Am I right about it? And so tonight, let it be said about you that you can handle God's goodness, and you can be a good steward over God's favor. And yes, it has been said, favor is not fair. And that is to say, for some of us, we think that it means that there's a disparity. But for me, it means that in spite of what I do, in spite of what I say, God sends favor to me every morning. That's why the psalmist said, morning by morning, new mercy I see. And so blessings upon you tonight. Sister Tammy Moore, I hear the word of the Lord say Michael is going to be doing many commercials, not just promoting your business. I see Michael being the face of a product. God's going to show Michael. You tell Michael to get to church Sunday for Youth Sunday. I want you all to get all the youth and young adults. Our church is open for everybody. They can come to our church with Loud on. Loud is the new fragrance amongst many in this generation because, certain things have become legal, right? And we don't look down on folk whose fragrance may be that loud. We ain't doing like them, boy, that boy stink. Boy, you smell like that dope. We don't do that. We love folk and let God save them, and we affirm the worth and dignity of souls. That's what we do. And so tonight, as we are speaking, I want you, Sister Star, that's Gloria's daughter. I hear the word of the Lord saying to tell your family to do a prayer call for 3 weeks straight. Star, tell your mother and tell your sister, you all do a prayer call and do it before October's out for 3 weeks straight. There's some things about to break. There's some things about to be released. There's some things about to turn. God is teaching you how to war in the spirit. As you're sowing tonight, Sister Valerie Settlers, I also hear the word of the Lord saying, I'm blessing this. There's a niece in your family, this young girl, like a niece. I see her getting a full academic scholarship. God is moving. Now, Sister Tawana's not here tonight, but there's so many people got praise report. Trina McIntosh, I know you. I don't know if she's still on or not, but if she isn't, put her name there. Trina McIntosh, I see promotion coming, and I see expansion, especially in the area of your career. That's for Trina McIntosh. I hear the word of the Lord saying, I'm opening a door for you to have a partner, and the partner is going to have all the money, but you're going to be the face of it. Kim Cherry James, make sure that you send me the prayer request before the night is over. I'm only seeing some in comments, in the comment section. Charlene Cody, welcome into the press down, shaking together, running over season for you and your household. Put it up in your house. If you have a group text tonight, Grady Bryant, send it to the group text and said, this is the word of the Lord for you and your house. So we're entering into the season called press down, shaking together, running over. It's called overflow. Grady Bryant, I want you to I want you to, by faith, I want you to, by faith, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go or order some jars. I'm going to tell you publicly because I want the people to see the manifestation in this. And I want you to muse and start back, because you know you can sell Uncle Grady barbecue out of your truck. You know that you can make that a part of your brand building. But Uncle, y'all, let me share with you, I'm going to brag on me. Y'all giving, if you've sown already, just let me know. So I've already sown. And we know that even as you're sowing, you're activating the law of increase. Has anybody heard of Pinky Cole? Pinky Cole. If you've heard of Pinky Cole, let me know by responding. If you're on YouTube, I want you to make sure you've given. Let me know if you heard of Pinky Cole. Is anybody responding? There's a slight delay. Pinky Cole, is there a slight delay? Pinky Cole, Pinky Cole. Bless you, Brother Chad. Increase 100-fold. Bless you, Sister Valerie Settlers, 100-fold. Bless you, Sister Nicole Harper, 100-fold. Co-pastor, bless you. You sowing for us tonight. She's already given. Bless you, co-pastor, 100-fold. Bless you, Pam Peters, 100-fold. Pinky Cole, thank you. I was waiting for somebody to tell me they know who she was. Pinky Cole and Jahi were honored by Miss Parker's foundation. I think it's called Mary Parker. Both Jahi and Pinky Cole. Bless you, Sister Bernie. And so as I saw Pinky, she at that time she had that one location in Cascade where people were standing outside of the door waiting to get in. Bless you, Brother Foster. I got another word for Brian. Don't let me forget. I saw Pinky. I said, now, I hadn't had the burger tie because when Sakai stood in line to get one, we get home, Jelani said, I want it, so I gave it to him. So I never tried, Slutty Vegan until maybe several years later. And I said to her, I hear the Spirit of the Lord saying, you're going to have your sauce in stores. And I said to her, Carla Jackson, I said, it's your sauce. And I said to her, it's because of the ingredient, and when you go into the stores, it's going to be wealth. And she looked at me and she said, I received it. I read somewhere recently that the sauce is in the store. I said that to let you know, Brother Grady, prepare. Don't despise the day of small beginning. Get the jars. And I'm going to tell you, somebody's going to pay for you to get the labels. If you have it, use what you have in your hand. Somebody tonight, all you need to know is that in your generosity, in your goodness, in your sacrificing, in your commitment to being a blessing, your commitment to helping others win and advance in the kingdom, there's the measurer in the midst, and that is the embodiment of God's goodness. It's the embodiment of God's favor. It's the embodiment of God's grace that steps into your generosity, step into your commitment to give and to be a blessing. But I want to say to you tonight, Carl Jackson, I see you getting a contract, and I see you with a contract that's going to cause you to truly get paid for the gift that you have to organize. I don't know what your skill sets are, but I hear the word of the Lord saying, because I can trust you. Elder Willie Render, I need to say this to you. Elder Render, I hear the word of the Lord saying to tell you, your latter will be greater than the former. For every time you sacrifice and for every person you poured in, you are a general in the Lord's army. And I know you've sown, you served the military, you retired, but I hear the word of the Lord say, Elder Render, in the kingdom you are a general. You have mastered the art of war. You have given strategies to others to live a godly life, to be good disciples, to be good stewards. You taught the scriptures and you're still teaching. And I hear the word of the Lord saying your reward, not just when you leave here, but I'm causing your prayers to be answered. I see you seeing and having a testimony about answered prayers concerning your children, concerning things that you've been had before you. And Elder Render God said, I am causing you to see. I can bless you and reward you openly for your sacrifices, as you have been known to sacrifice all these years. And so tonight, for those of you who hear me, I speak over your life. Welcome into the season called Pressed Down, Shaken Together, Running Over, Overflow. Go back tonight and listen to the lesson. I approached it from various perspectives. I gave the theologians something. I talked about the Sermon on the Plain. I laced this lesson tonight with portable principles that you can apply to your life wherever you are. LaToya McLean, I hear the word of the Lord saying to tell you, your youngest son, the baby boy, I'm dealing with him. He has a gift for business, and his hands are anointed. I haven't seen him, but see if he can come to church Sunday. I want to pray for him. As soon, I want to pray for your youngest son. I hear the word of the Lord saying he's going to get connected to people who are going to bring him in, and they're going to pay him to use his hands. He's gifted with his hand. And then I hear the word of the Lord saying, his portion is going to be double, because I'm going to give him the coat of many colors. Coat of many colors means he will be cloaked in favor. That's what it means. It literally means he will be cloaked in favor, which means that he will be in a position to bless others. That's your youngest son. And we thank you now tonight for those who gathered YouTube, those who gathered live stream. We thank you for the ability to teach and to edify and to encourage. Let these next 8 days be a reminder, be a confirmation that you have done it again, that you have proven to us again that your goodness does not run out. I need some people who believe that you ain't seen your best days yet to put in the comment section. God's goodness never runs out. Somebody, I know some of us are looking for a God who is like man, who will love you today and hate you tomorrow, but somebody who can believe God for it, who can believe God in it. Just say God's goodness never runs out. God's got another move. I don't care if it looks uncertain. I don't care if it looks like the enemy is winning. God's got it. Oh, they're coming in. I see it tonight. Jennifer Grady, I don't know who you are. Grady, you should come to visit us, Greater Works, real soon. That's right. It's not running out. Brian Foster, I hear the word of the Lord saying, I'm opening a door for your son. And he's going to really start excelling in every area. I hear the word of the Lord say, push him that he don't become lazy academically. Because I see him with a full ride, and I see him with many scholarships. I also hear the word of the Lord saying he has also the gift of song. And I see your son using his musical gift in a way that's going to shock everyone. There's a spirit of peace that's coming upon you, Brian, because God said to tell you, I did not forget, I did not overlook. The set time to favor you has come. If you all hear Brian Foster sing, you will know that God has graced this young man with a special gift. And I hear the word of the Lord say, watch how Damon Sneed make room on his platform for your song. And I'm telling you, people of God, it's time for us to go out of our way to make sure others win. Pamela Peters, did you remember I said about the escrow? Well, I hear the Spirit of the Lord saying to tell you, in addition to them giving you you being hired back, there's going to be a package, or your retirement package is increasing also, Pamela. And I want you to know that in the midst of it all, the measurer will be right there. giving you. Did y'all hear me say that what the measurer gave is about 30% more than they paid for? Somebody can just say extra tonight. I'm believing you, God, for overflow. I'm believing God for not just enough, but more than enough. I got more than enough love. I got more than enough strength. I got more intangibles. I got more than enough compassion to extend it. Yeah, Lord. Thank you all for being with us tonight. Now, I want y'all to double check. So did I share? Did I share? Did I share? YouTube, you know, you have subscribed, and then you can press copy, or copy the link and populate in your phone, or you can just do that forward. But YouTube you can share, and live stream TV you can share. Kiana Bryant, is she on tonight? Grady, I know Grady was on. Y'all need to let me know. Make sure you on, because I want to say this while she's on. For Kiana, everybody put Kiana's name in there and say Kiana Bryant. Thank you, oh Lord, for your favor. Thank you for the jobs offer. Thank you for the job offer that's going to be exceptionally high for someone who just started. Kiana Nicole. Hallelujah. Lord, do it for Kiana Bryant. Lord, do it for Kiana. She's on YouTube. Kiki. I see job offers, and I see it not low or mid, but I see them offering you the top. I hear the word of the Lord saying to tell you, be intentional about building Bryant Enterprises. It's enterprise. It's not just transportation. It's that barbecue sauce. And then, Grady, you need to put your face on it with a white hat. You know them different faces you have, and they'll say, now that barbecue must be good. He look like he can cook. You know, some folks you just look at them and say, they look like they can cook. But Grady, however you do it, starts acting and move swiftly on your other gift, and people are going to start swearing by it. You're going to tell them it's good, and they're going to say, yeah, it is good. And then they're going to swear it's the best barbecue sauce that they've had. I'm trying to tell you. Somebody put in the comment section, I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, so I'm trying to tell you. Tell Grady Bryant, I'm trying to tell you. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Lord, blessings upon your people. We thank you for this opportunity to teach. We thank you for this opportunity to edify, exhort, and comfort. We thank you tonight that those who hear this message will be strengthened by your power. There's a pastor, there's a man of God who's going to hear me tonight, and you will listen to it. And the Lord said that that which was stolen, I'm giving it to you 100-fold. I see this man of God who lost money in an investment deal. But I hear the word of the Lord say, go back to sowing like you are already there. And I sow a seed tonight. There's a man of God and there's an entrepreneur that needs to sow tonight $1,000. I'm telling you what the sacrificial seed is, because that's what I got. For those who want to analyze it, do it to your peril. But I'm telling you now that the law of surplus plus is being activated when the people of God believe that God has an inexhaustible supply. And so there's a man of God tonight. You lost money, but get ready, because there's a release over it and it's returning 100-fold. I see a lady who is looking at buying a van for the church. There's a lady who's been asking and praying, Lord, bless me to get my church a van. I say tonight, hear me in the Holy Ghost, when you have a prayer for ministry that goes beyond your house, you can always count on God answering those prayers. That is to say, if you're praying, God bless our church, God bless the work of our hands, God let souls come in, you have now gone beyond the outer court of praying just for you. or just for your children. You have now aligned yourself with God's will for humanity. God is willing that none should perish. And I want you not to give up on folk who may be struggling in their spirituality. Stop writing folk off, calling them demons, and stop writing people off, because do you know that woman at the well that had all those husbands started a revival when Jesus looked at her and did not, and told her who she was, and then he treated her like she had already arrived. That's when people are going to start coming to Jesus, coming to the Christ, when those who are following the Christ start living Jesus. And so we thank you tonight. Lord, move for Sade tonight. Touch, Lord, strengthen now. God, move for Lance Carter. Touch, move right now. Lord, move for Leela Monroe. Brother Lance Carter, I hear the word of the Lord saying, there's breakthrough in the family around something that happened 10 years ago. And you're going to be one of the ones who bring people together again. Brother Lance, I hear the word of the Lord saying to you, believe that it's me. For you hear the voice of God. You have the ear of God. And God says to tell you, I'm responding. Even when that still small voice comes to you, it may seem strange, but it's God. And so I pray tonight that Brother Lance will be strengthened by your power. Oh God, I pray tonight that you will strengthen Brother Lance so that Lance will no longer second guess himself, and that Lance will step out on your will and your way, and that Lance will be prepared to walk into that pressed down, shaken together, running over season. Did you all hear me tonight? Welcome into your new season, and walk into your season. Thank you all. Be blessed. Thank you for sowing. Thank you all for sowing. Thank you all for blessing. Thank you all for sharing it. Thank you all for everybody who shared it. Thank you.
He cannot lose. He cannot